The phone rings twice, stops,
Quick, get down to
rings
the cellar
twice
now.
again. That is the code. The Gestapo is coming. JOHTJE VOS has less than 2 minutes. She opens the back door. 14 people descend into the cellar, move through the coal storage, enter the tunnel, and disappear into the forest.
Quick,
Her husband
get down
Art
to the
goes
cellar
with them.
now.
He knows every path, every stream, every exit in that forest. He has known them since childhood. JOHTJE closes everything, walks to the front door, opens it with a smile. Good morning. Laren is a small village in the Netherlands, less than an hour from Amsterdam. In 1940, JOHTJE and Art Vos lived there in a 3-bedroom house at the end of a dead-end road, with acres of forest directly behind the property. JOHTJE was born Johanna Kuiper in 1909. Her grandfather Abraham Kuiper had served as Prime Minister of the Netherlands. She had worked as a journalist in Paris, had been previously married to a German painter, and had 2 daughters from that marriage. She and Art married in 1942. Between them, they had 5 children. In May 1940, Germany invaded the Netherlands. The occupation began immediately. Jewish citizens were stripped of rights, property, and professions. Friends of the Vos family who were Jewish were forced to relocate to restricted areas of Amsterdam. Then the request started. One friend asked if the Voses would hide a piano from the Germans. They said yes. Another asked if they would hold a suitcase of valuables. They said yes. Then someone asked if they would shelter a Jewish child. They said yes. Then another person. Then another. Before the end of 1942, the 3-bedroom house on the dead-end road had people hidden in every room. Art joined the local resistance network in Laren. JOHTJE managed the house. She distributed rationed food equally among everyone, maintained silence, and instructed the children about what they could and could not do. Her own 5 children slept in that house every single night, surrounded by people hidden in the walls and floors around them. When her own mother found out what was happening and reprimanded her for putting the children in danger, JOHTJE answered that she would rather have children who grew up knowing their parents did what was right, than children who grew up safe while their parents stood still. Art built a tunnel. It ran 50 meters from a shed at the back of the property, passing under a false bottom in the coal storage bin, through the garden, and emerging inside the tree line of the forest. The entrance was concealed beneath the coal. From the outside there was nothing to see. The chief of police in Laren was a friend of the family and a secret participant in the resistance. Whenever the Gestapo was planning a raid on the Vos house, he would call with a pre-arranged code: 2 rings, a pause, 2 rings again. That gave the household time to move everyone through the tunnel before the soldiers arrived. The system worked. The Gestapo came. They searched. They found nothing. At any given moment, the house held as many as 14 people in hiding. The tunnel had been built before the danger arrived. The decision had been made before the knock at the door. Over the course of the occupation, the Vos family would shelter approximately 36 people in that house. At least 8 of them remained hidden for more than 2 years. The Gestapo came to her door with a tortured man and an ultimatum. She did not freeze. She did not break. She built a plan in 20 minutes and reversed the entire situation. Her own children were sleeping upstairs. If you want to understand what that kind of calm costs, subscribe. This is the last episode of Together Until the End. 3 couples, 3 impossible choices. 3 completely different prices. At some point during the occupation, the Gestapo arrived without warning. They were not alone. With them was a man named Jan, a member of the resistance network. He was bloodied from interrogation. The officers gave JOHTJE an ultimatum. Tell them where contraband documents were hidden, or Jan would be killed. JOHTJE did not break. She did not confess, she thought. She made contact with Mika, Jan's wife. Together they devised a plan. Mika left the house and returned 20 minutes later, telling the Gestapo officers that she had found the documents buried in the backyard of Jan's brother's house. She handed over the contraband. The officers checked the story it held together. Jan's brother was safe in hiding and could not contradict anything. The Gestapo accepted the explanation. Jan was released. The refugees inside the Vos house were never discovered. The soldiers left. JOHTJE closed the door behind them. She had not broken under an ultimatum. She had not frozen in the presence of a tortured man. She had built a working deception in 20 minutes, using the Gestapo's own logic against them, and reversed the entire situation without anyone inside the house being exposed. After 4 years of occupation, the Netherlands was liberated in May 1945. 36 people had been saved through the house at the end of the dead-end road in Laren. At least 8 of them had spent more than 2 years inside its walls. Among them was a young girl named Moana Hilfman, who had lived with the Vos family for the duration of the war. JOHTJE and Art had cared for her as one of their own. When the war ended, they applied to adopt her. The Jewish community focused on preserving the Jewish identity of children who had been separated from their families during the war, removed Moana from the Vos home, and placed her in a Jewish orphanage. The couple who had risked everything to keep that child alive did not have the right to keep her. In 1982, Yad Vashem recognized JOHTJE and Art Vos as righteous among the nations. In 1999, JOHTJE published a memoir about the war years titled The End of the Tunnel. When asked about what she and Art had done, she said, "I want to say right away that the words hero and righteous Gentile are terribly misplaced." JOHTJE VOS died in 2007. She was 97 years old. JOHTJE and Art had protected 36 lives inside their own home. But protecting did not mean owning. When the war ended, the girl they had sheltered was returned to a world that claimed her as its own. The love and the risk gave them no rights over anything. JOHTJE spent the rest of her life refusing the word hero. We simply did what had to be done. There was no heroic decision. There was a human decision made before the danger arrived. The tunnel was already finished when the Gestapo knocked at the door. JOHTJE VOS lived to be 97 years old. She never accepted the word hero. She said they did what had to be done. The tunnel Art built is still there, under the garden in Laren. The forest is still there, and the 36 people who walked through that tunnel and into the trees are the only proof that anything happened at all.